Hi, welcome to the Player Space. Hi, Chris. How you doing today?
Hey, Jim.
What's up?
Jimmy. Anyone ever call you Jimmy?
Only my close friends call me Jimmy.
Well, I don't know. Is that did I step over some line?
Well, they just do it naturally. They're just like Jimmy, you know.
Right. So, what was our topic for today?
Well, we're going to discuss what we're doing here, but I think we kind of worked that out.
Oh, well,
you're in the tux, and I'm in a.
Well, by the way, Jim, you look fabulous today.
Okay. I'd like to get other people's opinions. Not that I don't trust yours, but thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm sure if you show this to other people, that they'll give you.
It's a little bit more my natural habitat, but what I wear other times is kind of my natural habitat as well. So I was back in a few years back, quite a few years back now, but anyway, I was at a club. My favorite club at the time was Bondage a Go-Go, which there was lots of people. It was mostly a dance club, but then they had a little bondage area. And for people who are exhibitionists, would like do their thing. And there was a guy in there wearing, what's the sandal, the hippie sandal that...
Flip-flops?
No, not flip-flops. You know, it's a brand. It's like Crocs, but for hippies.
Crocs for hippies, I like that. That sounds like a brand in itself. Crocs for hippies.
It'll come to me. See, it completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, because
which is a good thing.
Yeah, really.
Because I was just horrified. I was horrified. Like I'm okay even going barefoot in the dungeon, but especially if you're into kind of the Japanese, shibari stuff, then that works. Like, why can't I think of the name of this brand?
It's not that important. That's right.
Anyway, yeah, sandals. No. It's you gotta have boots or even tennis shoes that are maybe black. Although I guess I do sometimes wear my red tennis shoes now that I think about it. But never these. It's not allowed. I'm sorry. It will never be okay.
What about the Roman sandals that like tie up around your ankles?
Those would be fine.
Okay, those would be actually more than fine.
Because they're made from leather.
Right, but also the like you said, the shibari thing. If you have them tied up around your calf,
yeah, the aesthetic. The aesthetic
yes.
is right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, what are we doing here? Is that the subject? Or,
yeah. What are we doing here?
Well, I think we're trying to leverage and promote our lifestyle and creativity and all of those things.
Yeah. So
money, power.
Money, sex, and power.
Money, sex, and power. Yes.
Media and art, expressing our creativity.
Yeah.
We have to express our creativity.
And am I hearing that you're feeling we need to really be focused on something?
I think we need to focus, maybe fail fast. Kind of, yeah. Like you brought in the analogy of two kids in the basement.
Right.
Like, very good analogy, actually.
Rubert Pupkin.
Who was that?
A king of comedy. Remember he did this talk show in his basement?
I missed that.
My name is Rupert Pupkin. I was born in Clifton, New Jersey, which was not at that time a federal offense.
That's hilarious.
With Robert De Niro,
I
where
never
they kidnapped
saw it.
Jerry Lewis?
I never saw that. I hear it's a great one.
Well, I think it's very relevant because he filmed this talk show in his basement.
Okay.
And then he kidnapped Jerry Lewis.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I should watch that. Well, yeah. I think we want to. We want to just focus up a little bit, kind of get out there a little bit more in what we do, and figure out what works and what doesn't work. I mean, I think we figured out that me talking about Bitcoin all the time and you not liking it, probably doesn't work in the long term. It works a little bit for me and my other business, so I have some content to use. That's great. Us talking about Betty Page and. That works. That really, oh my God, does that work?
Well, maybe we should talk about Betty a little more.
You know what? I downloaded some footage that we can use last night. So I think we want to bookend that. Other things, so here's a brilliant thing I heard, and I'm glad I just remembered it now. Using our throat, this chakra, I heard this last week, is basically a life-changing chakra. By talking and vocalizing, what we want, then we're actually putting it out there into the ether, I guess. And that's actually it changes your life. And I think that's what we're looking to do here. Mm-hmm. So we're not always on the same page about, how we want our life to be changed. I would like a harem. And I don't want to fly commercial ever again. I really, private planes, jets, yeah. I would like that. In fact, I had this thing. If you dig down in our channel, I created a what's it called? A sigil of for every Southwest flight I've taken. That's good for like 2 or 3 private flights. And I've taken a lot of Southwest flights, ladies and gentlemen, in my career. Mm-hmm. And I'm done. I'm too old for Southwest. I don't care
Southwest will miss you.
How many peanuts they have. Southwest is a great airline. It's don't get me wrong.
Especially for the people who own it.
Yeah. I don't have all kinds of stories. I have some fun Southwest stories. Mm-hmm. Do you know that shortly after 9/11, I got on a Southwest flight without any ID whatsoever.
Did you have a bomb in your shoe?
I didn't have a bomb in my shoe. I'm not sure if that was pre or post shoe bomber. It was so long ago, but I had to go to Las Vegas. I used to go to Las Vegas all the time and stay at the shittiest hotel you could, usually Circus, to whatever startup I was flogging at the time. This was mobile media. And I was stuck. I had gotten up early. I'd forgotten my ID. And I had to get on that plane because the publisher at the time of the magazine was right there with me. And together we talked ourselves onto that flight. And I got someone to FedEx me my ID so I could get back. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have let you get on that flight because
you
fit the profile of
sure
a terrorist perfectly.
Long grayish hair, although I don't think it was very gray then. I had some grays, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thinking about the pandemic and then thinking about what you just talked about pre 9/11, in some weird way, I don't know if anyone's associated these two things, how these two events have kind of changed our world in this kind of major way in terms of people's fears, this idea that the world is not a safe place.
What sells almost as good as sex?
Fear.
Exactly.
Fear. And fear. On a basic level, we're moving towards love or fear. So sex and love are not that far away from each other.
Yeah, I'd rather sell sex and love than fear, just personally. But okay.
Well, I'm sure you.
I'm just taking my place here.
I think we're in the same place.
Do we want to sell fear? Or do we want to sell
No, let's move towards sex and love. Much nicer, much better.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that what's relevant about it is we're looking for something that's an alternative to that fear, and this kind of atmosphere of we're all going to die,
right? Or kill others. We're killers walking around there without a mask, spreading our disease.
Yeah, and as you know, I'm about to get on a plane tomorrow night, but it's really about this kind of last party that a friend of mine is having at a loft that she lives in, which I think we may have spoken about before. It's actually the loft where they filmed part of Fatal Attraction.
Right.
And so.
And how much is that loft worth these days?
Millions of dollars, apparently.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that, seeing a bunch of old friends, having a little experience in New York. It's always fun to walk around the city. It's no matter what time of year it is, no matter what the events going on in the world, walking around New York City, probably because it's where I grew up, but also just the energy of the city is just always amazing.
I hear it's much better than San Francisco. People who've gone there over the last couple of months have told me it's actually much looser and freer and happier. So it'll be interesting to get a report card. I mean, certainly, New York in December, Christmas time, lights. I mean, come on. It's like a postcard, isn't it?
Yeah, parts of, I mean, as long as the snow isn't dirty and slushy, for a few minutes, it can be like a postcard. I mean, that's that. And thanks for reminding me that. I typically don't engage in the Rockefeller Center, Christmas stuff, but it actually is a good reminder because it's worth at least going up there and looking around.
Yeah, take a walk. I mean, I take some pictures. I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I don't know if you can really get a handle on it, but is New York still as fun a place as it used to be? And because you said basically that your generation is moving out,
yeah, but I think a lot of the folks our age are like, who've made some money and are able to, are just like, I've had enough of this. I want to go live in the country.
Yeah.
Not be around people, where it's quiet. This whole, again, I'm not into that kind of stuff. This just sounds like death to me.
But is it,
I'm into a retirement home. Like I
right.
like being around people, being around activity, spontaneity. All those things are really important to me. But interestingly, my friends are not so much into this anymore.
You need new friends.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're trying to do here, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
get some people who are interested in still gathering and having fun and discussing politics. Or did I say politics? Where did that come from?
Yeah, really. Yeah, where did it come from? Politics.
Politics. We'll put a little red flag kind of if I actually edit this episode, like a big red flag.
Well, I would like to not restrict politics to what politicians do. Politics is basically an extension of my social life. I mean, I am involved politically. I sit on a board for the city of Oakland. I'm very involved in social issues and stuff. I'm just not so much involved with professional politicians.
Okay.
But I think we are all political. All of our lives are political in the sense that, this idea of America is this kind of republic and democracy where all the citizens participate in the kind of running of the country. I think even though we're far removed from that. I mean, first of all, we shouldn't have professional politicians. That would be the first thing I would move. Everyone should serve in a political role and not get paid for it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. And we should have term limits. Yeah, we're quite on the same path. That brings up an interesting story that I guess we're talking about politics for a second here, but back when I was actively involved in Toastmasters, this guy from China asked to give a speech at our club. I'm like, okay. And unfortunately for me, this is one of the times where the time limit was, I was like, okay, it's only a 10-minute speech, right? And he's like, but I got all this stuff. He had all this, prepared all this stuff. The gist of it was, here's someone from China coming over here, and he went to a school board meeting in Half Moon Bay, California, where there were probably 2 or 3 people showed up at this school board meeting. And he was like basically kind of scolding us, saying how where he came from, they can't do that. They can't have school board meetings and ordinary citizens show up. And he was blown away that how we just take that for granted. That, oh, that's just available. No one, this is obviously before all the, let's just call them the Troubles. We'll call it the Troubles.
The Troubles. Speaking an Irish accent.
This is before the Troubles happened. So obviously more people are showing up at school board meetings these days. But he was blown away that how we took it for granted, how we had this readily available, how ordinary citizens could actually take part in their government, in very local government, and how he was going to go back to China and basically risk his life. He was going to risk his life in order to fight to get more of that in China.
Well, and maybe this is where, let's for a second, when you say the Troubles, why don't we call them the Tribbles?
The Tribbles!
Like the Star Trek episode, The Trouble with Tribbles.
The Troubles with Tribbles, yeah.
Well, before maybe the Tribbles actually serve a purpose.
It's pretty Tribble-er, isn't it?
They wake us up to how fortunate we are to be able to do certain things and how precious other things really are.
Well, Chris, if we want to talk about wokeness, I think I woke up a long time ago.
But for example, did you wake up to how fortunate it is when we can actually interact with a person in public and actually see their face? You know,
well,
we take that for granted.
Yeah, I mean, given my background, I already kind of knew about, sensory deprivation and the effects of that, and also compliance, doing things to get people to comply. So those are all things I had kind of, in my back pocket. Mm-hmm. I don't use them so much because I'm just not that type of person. Mm-hmm. But I understood how it psychologically works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because I exited a marriage at almost precisely 6 months before the Tribbles began.
The Tribbles.
The Tribbles Part 2, because I do think 9/11 was Tribbles Part 1.
Absolutely.
Tribbles Part 2 happened.
That's assuming one Tribble, multiplying with an average litter of 10, producing a new generation every 12 hours over a period of 3 days.
And that's assuming that they got here 3 days ago.
I really appreciate that 6 month. Oh, there we go.
Keep going, and then we'll wrap it.
5 minutes. Because I exited a marriage 6 months before the second version of the Tribbles began, I really appreciated those 6 months when I could interact with human beings in public, strangers, shopkeepers, whatever, and then everything shut down.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm free. And then I was like, no, you're not. So
Guess again.
So I did.
We have
really
the pandemic bingo card coming up.
Right. Yeah. So again, this gets back to this whole thing of like, what are we trying to do? And we've been dancing around this for a while now. And what we're trying to do is to leverage and enhance our lifestyles and our creativity and all of that other stuff. So I think we have the beginnings of a platform to do that, and where it goes from here, I'm optimistic.
We'll find out. We shall see.
And the other thing I'm going to do this weekend in New York, and it really thanks for kind of intensifying the focus of that, is I'm going to talk to other folks about what I'm trying to do, and like you said.
The chakra,
manifest
the throat chakra.
Yeah, chakra.
Oh, come on, I love this stuff. I'm a little bit weird like that.
Okay,
so.
well, here's what I like. You talk to people about what you're into, and they're more likely to understand it and respond to that.
You talk to people about what you're into, and you literally create your life and change your life. I think that is what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're not always on the same page, but if we agreed all the time, it would be a boring show.
Yeah.
It's still probably boring. I think we have a long way.
Arguing again. Turn it off.
What was that show? Crossfire or something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, those shows actually did really well.
Yeah, of course.
They
I love it when you have a lot of people like Tim Pool, for example, who's a podcaster I follow.
Uh-huh.
Very provocative. I mean, he definitely, if it's a slow news day, if there's not something for him to be like, oh my God, look at this, then there's nothing to talk about. Not to take anything away from him, and what I feel like he's building, it's pretty amazing. But at the same time, it's very provocative. Like if there wasn't something bad going on, he wouldn't have a show. Mm-hmm. So. Well, I don't think we don't need that. That's not where we're going.
Well, I still would hope that if we focus on things that are positive, even if they're in reaction to negative things, that's attractive to some people.
Positive. I think we'll, why don't we take this up in the second segment, because I think you need dark and light.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think pure light all the time is any good.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we should talk about making friends with your dark side. So stay tuned for that.